Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. After fighting dengue fever, Senator Terrence Nelson held a press conference early Monday morning to publicly share his concerns with a number of issues facing the territory. The senator shared his thoughts on the majority's fund allotment and the governor's State of the Territory speech, amongst other topics. News 2's Janisha John brings us more from the conference.
Members of the media were invited Monday morning to the office of Senator Positive Nelson to discuss issues facing the territory that concerned him.
I've called you here today to give some insights on matters of concern here in the territory.
After being sick with the dengue fever, Senator Nelson chose to first address health officials in his conference, urging them to do more to alert the public on the epidemic. He then went on to discuss concerns about Majority Leader Senator Donald Cole's recent request for additional funding.
We hear the Majority Leader trying to rationalize his need for an additional $80,000 in order to conduct majority business. I'm going to put this call out to the members of the 30th legislature. I will be your majority leader. You don't have to give me an additional $80,600 to conduct majority business. I don't see why an entire amount for an entire committee should be given to you in order to be majority leader. That's absurd.
The senator then discussed his thoughts on the governor's State of the Territory address.
I found it necessary to respond to some points the governor made. The need for longer school days. I do not support that call. I do agree that the schools should be kept open and after-school tutorials and supplement programs should be funded and available.
Senator Nelson also expressed his concerns about dealing with Hovensa, an issue he says officials need to take some responsibility for.
To set an ultimatum. You're either going to reopen at a certain point in time or you're going to close and begin deconstruction at a certain point in time. The government need not sit here waiting for Hovensa to take forever determining what it wants to do. The whole theme of this press conference today is about taking responsibility.
Janisha John, News 2.
Senator Nelson stated that members of the 30th Legislature, St. Croix District, will meet every second Friday of the month to discuss issues facing St. Croix and to work towards finding solutions. Well, in the continuing election lawsuit, District Judge Raymond Finch issued a 6-page opinion and order on Friday denying the plaintiff's motion to reconsider. It's the latest in this case where 5 former candidates have represented themselves pro se against the defendants, which include the Joint Board of Election, district chairs for each of the boards, and supervisor of elections. Judge Finch still has to either grant or deny the defendants' motion to dismiss the case entirely. Police continue to investigate an accident Saturday that left 1 person injured and a huge hole through the Island Medical Center building in Sunny Isle. The imaging center was severely damaged by a runaway car, but it was open for business on Monday. News 2's Erica Parsons has that story.
This wall you see behind me is closed now, but just a few days ago it was a gaping hole caused by what can only be described as a freak accident.
I heard an explosion, and I looked out, and it appeared as if the entire second floor was down on the first floor. So my obvious thought was that a meteor had come through the roof.
It wasn't a meteor, but sometime after noon Saturday, a runaway vehicle slammed into the Island Medical Center building and straight through the wall of the imaging center that's been there for more than 20 years and destroying medical equipment. Fortunately, Dr. Gallagher and his patient had left the room.
When I came downstairs and looked in the room, there was a car inside the room that I was just working in. And it fit almost snugly in that room. And there was debris all over the place.
A contractor who had been working in the room didn't fare so well. He sustained injuries and was sent to the hospital and later released.
There was someone in the room, and the person fortunately had moved to an area of the room that was a lot safer and wasn't directly hit by the vehicle. And the person did get medical attention. We've been checking on that person, and the person's is stable and still out of the hospital.
It's not quite clear just how the 2002 Ford Explorer ended up in the side of the building. Reportedly, the driver said he just left KFC and had stopped for traffic. When he took his foot off the brake, the car jumped forward. The driver wasn't hurt, and Dr. Gallagher is thankful that everyone's okay. He believes it's divine intervention that kept him safe so he could deliver his message Friday for the cardiac symposium.
I've come across some phenomenal research that's out there, and I've put together a talk that is going to address a lot of important diseases that I think we can actually get rid of.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Well, News 2 was unable to confirm whether or not charges will be filed against the driver in the case. Calls to the investigating officer were not returned by news time. Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives on St. Croix are investigating the non-fatal shooting of a male victim that occurred on February 3rd in the Mutual Homes apartments. The victim was taken to the Wanlewee Hospital for treatment. The victim told police he was standing on the steps of Building 39 just a few minutes before 8 p.m. when he heard 2 shots and realized he was shot in the buttocks. The victim said he did not know who shot him. Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives interviewed the victim and continue to investigate this case. A man was injured on his face and hand when another man struck him several times with a machete. Police on St. Croix are investigating this incident that occurred on January 2nd, a few minutes after 4 p.m. The 44-year-old victim told police while he was at the Covett service station in Estate Hogansburg, a man armed with a machete approached him and began striking him. The victim managed to get away and was treated for cuts to his face, left hand, and left index finger at the Wanlewee Hospital. Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives are following up on the investigation into this case. Well, many students on St. Thomas had the chance to be a part of an effort to empower the young male population in the territory for the 3rd annual Man Up Conference Empowerment that was brought to the gathering by the efforts of local celebrities and a renowned pediatric surgeon who told the young man anything is possible with hard work. News 2's Sean David reports.
Over 2,000 young men from across the territory made their way down to the University of the Virgin Islands this Monday for the 3rd annual Man Up Conference. It was here where they had the opportunity to learn about the importance of academic excellence, cultural appreciation, and self-worth as they transition into adulthood. This year's conference, which held the theme Man Up, Discovering Your Gifts and Talents, featured a notable selection of speakers that included Mother Against Guns founder Celia Carroll and best-selling author and filmmaker M.K. Asante. Many looked on as the speakers delivered strong messages on the essentials needed to succeed in life. The keynote speech from world-renowned pediatric surgeon and author Ben Carson, however, would touch many of those who were in attendance. Dr. Carson touched on all the perils he endured in his life and shared how he transitioned from bleak beginnings to becoming a respected surgeon. Many of the students left inspired by his message.
Dr. Carson really taught us how to live life and how to strive for our goals. You know, he taught us that in life you got to keep laser-like vision, not get deterred by peer pressure and all those stuff.
When Dr. Carson would speak, it would be a little more technical. I thought I wouldn't understand some of the words he would probably use, but no, it wasn't like that at all. He used words that a normal teenager would use. He spoke to us in a way that he knew would be more simple for us to understand him.
Sean David, News 2.
And the Man Up Conference resumes tomorrow, February 5th, at the UVI Albert Sheen campus on St. Croix. For more information on the conference, call 693-1000. President Obama is pushing ahead with his proposals for new gun control legislation, but leaders in the Senate say they want a gun control bill that can pass Congress. Suzanne McGinnis is in Washington, D.C. with the story.
President Obama takes his pitch for gun safety to Minneapolis today. He wants Congress to require universal background checks, limit how many bullets gun clips can hold, and pass a ban on assault weapons. But here in Washington, much of the focus is on more limited legislation.
I think that everyone acknowledges we should do something with background checks.
Not everyone. Wayne LaPierre, head of the NRA, says the president's proposals won't stop gun crimes.
It's a fraud to call it universal. It's never going to be universal. The criminals aren't going to comply with it.
But Mark Kelly, husband of former Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, believes current background checks are working and says they need to be extended to include sales at gun shows and private deals.
Since 1999, 1.7 million people were prevented from getting a firearm because they had a criminal record or a history of mental illness.
The toughest sell here on Capitol Hill is the assault weapons ban, something even the Senate's top Democrat, Majority Leader Harry Reid, has not endorsed.
I didn't vote for the assault weapons last time because it didn't make sense, but I'll take a look at it.
Kelly says Congress needs to pass the ban.
I mean, I spent 25 years in the military. I know the value of having an assault weapon, and it's to kill a lot of people very quickly. And I think they are way too readily available.
LaPierre says semi-automatic guns help keep Americans safe. Susan McGinnis, CBS News, Washington.
And keeping our eye on the economy, shares of Herbalife are plunging after the New York Post said the Federal Trade Commission is investigating the supplement makeover allegations that it's a pyramid scheme. Royal Caribbean says it lost nearly $393 million last quarter because of losses associated with its Spanish cruise line. Stocks fell from 5-year highs and the Dow stepped back from 14,000 on concerns over political tensions in Europe. This is New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank's Stock Market Watch. Everything down: the Dow 129, Nasdaq 47, S&P 17. Coming up on News 2, well, the guys had their moment at the Man Up conference, but some young women also shared a special day for the girls. It was held at Adelita Cancran Junior High. Self-esteem building, etiquette, and preparing for success in the academic and professional arenas. We'll be back right back. It was all about girls Monday morning at Adelita Cancran Junior High School. The third annual For the Girls Conference brought a focus on STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. A former Cancran student returned to share her experiences and advice for today's young ladies. What was it? News 2's Erica Bivens has the story.
Study hard, ask for help, really take advantage of their counselors and their teachers, and sort of asking for assistance to prepare them for the next steps.
That's the advice Dr. Ty Hunt has for young women. And as a doctor, she speaks from experience.
You have to take that initiative.
Dr. Hunt, a former Adelita Cancran alum herself, was this year's keynote speaker for the school's third annual For the Girls Conference. And she spoke about STEM careers and the importance of getting girls interested.
Science, technology, and engineering and mathematic field, it's really predominated by men. And if these young ladies don't become interested in these subjects, then they will not become aware of the different opportunities and the different careers.
8th grade teacher Gloria Salas-Lindquist says it's important for female students to see someone who's made it in a STEM-related field like Dr. Hunt.
Lets them see that, if she did it, I can too. It gives them empowerment. And I think that's what the conference is all about, is empowerment, that they can do anything a guy can do.
It felt really good coming back so that I can speak to the young ladies, letting them know that I was here with them and trying to just be a positive, mentor.
A lot of the students that go away, they do really well, but they don't come back and give. And it's great to see the ones that do come back and give.
The day was also filled with group sessions to incorporate other aspects of interest to girls, even including a little Zumba. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
Innovative, the parent company of CBS TV2, was a sponsor of the event. Well, as we continue to recognize February as Black History Month, a touching story. 19-year-old singer Vikas Visser has come a long way since he became a YouTube hit when a video of the then 10-year-old singing These Arms of Mine by 90s R&B group All For One went viral on the internet. Hard at work in the studio, Visser is now rehearsing for one of his biggest performances to date. He is due to perform in Washington at a tribute concert in honor of former South Africa President Nelson Mandela and American civil rights hero Martin Luther King for Black History Month. Visser became popular around his neighborhood as a child. One day, a neighbor recorded him, although it took a while once his YouTube video became a hit. Talent scouts descended on South Africa looking for the young boy, but could not find him then, but 2 years later, as a 17-year-old teenager.
It's something that I never anticipated or expected would happen so soon, for us getting the opportunity to perform and even to represent or give tribute to Nelson Mandela and such a great man as Martin Luther King, and representing our own people, South African people, and our cultures here and our diversity in languages. So it's really just, for me, it's a huge honor, I must say, and I'm really going to make them proud when I go there.
Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.